Born in this cause number 2020-36016 in the interest of Kayleen and Eliza Guerrero. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
All right, ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the children.
My name is Evelyn Reyes, and I'm the mother of Kayleen and Alice Guerrero.
All right, representing the Attorney General, State of Texas.
Andrea Eoff.
Court will note that the presumed father, David Alexander Monterosa, is not present. He signed a waiver of service, and he was also given notice of this Zoom hearing by certified mail return request, return receipt requested, and that was delivered on August 10th, 2022. The biological father is also not present. He was personally served on March 9th, 2022 at 10:14 a.m. at 12956 Myrtle Lane, Houston, Harris County, Texas. And he has not appeared or filed an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Yoff?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right, so we will proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we'd also like to ask that the court take judicial notice of and enter into evidence the DNA test results that exclude Mr. Monterosa as the children's father.
The court will take note that the DNA test report would indicate that the alleged father, David Monterosa, is excluded as the biological father of the tested child, Kayleen Guerrero, and the child, Eliza Guerrero.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to call Officer Barrera.
Okay.
Officer Barrera, will you please state your name for the court?
Arnaldo Barrera.
And what is it that you do for a living?
I'm a child support officer with the Attorney General.
Do you have training in researching income sources and calculating child support and medical support in accordance with the Texas Family Code?
Yes, I do.
And have you had an opportunity to do that in this case?
Yes, I have.
And can you describe your findings for the court?
Yes. Mr. Guerrero's monthly income based on a minimum wage presumption is $1,012.56 after taxes and $75 for medical support, a net income of $1,067.78, setting child support at $267 per month and medical support at $75 per month to begin October 1st.
Thank you. And have you made any calculations regarding retroactive child support in this case?
Yes, I did retroactive child support from the date of July 1st, 2020 to today's date. And that amount, retro amount of $8,379 to be paid out at $95 a month to begin October 1st.
And why is that retroactive support period beginning July 1st, 2020?
That is the time he got out of jail.
And the pay rates that you used for calculating that retroactive support, I understand there were two different ones. Is that right?
That is correct. Most of them were based on minimum wage. There was 3 months that was based on income that was reported by his employer.
All right. Thank you, Officer Barrera. I have no further questions and pass this witness.
All right, Ms. Reyes, do you have any questions of Mr. Barrera?
No, sir.
All right, may he be excused, Ms. Eoff?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're excused, Mr. Barrera. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. And I would now like to call Ms. Reyes.
Okay.
All right. Ms. Reyes, will you please state your full name for the court?
Evelyn Marie Reyes.
And will you state the names and ages of your children?
Kayleen Guerrero is 7 years old. Alice Guerrero is 5 years old.
And you and Mr. Monterosa, the presumed father in this case, completed DNA testing. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you saw the results that said that Mr. Monterosa is not the father of these children?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to have the court exclude him as the father of these children?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Guerrero, the non-custodial parent in this case, he was given the opportunity to complete DNA testing, but failed to appear. Is that right?
That's right.
Is there a chance that anyone other than Mr. Guerrero could be your children's father?
No.
Would you like to have the court declare that Mr. Guerrero is their father and establish the parent-child relationship between them today?
Yes.
And you want to change the children's last name to Reyes, is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you tell the court why that is?
Because since both of the girls were born, I've noticed the effort that he does to be in their lives. And so I believe that he just doesn't want to make that effort to be in their lives, and why should they carry his last name if he couldn't even try his best to even appear to court and for us to get all of this situated.
Okay. When is the last time he visited with your children?
The last time he visited the children was back in June 2020.
And how did that visit go?
I wasn't there because he had recently got out of jail, and he got out of an ankle monitor. So I was only able just to give him the girls he wasn't able to come out the door, so I had to take the girls in the door, and I just dropped them off and picked them up the next day, the same way. And from what the girls told me, they had fun with him, but that was the last time that he actually seen the girls.
He hasn't made any attempt to visit them in the last 2 years?
He tried in July. I dropped off the girls at my mom's house like we agreed to, and he didn't pick up the girls. He just told me he had things to do. He wasn't able to pick them up. I wasn't aware until later on that night that he didn't pick them up, that he had something else to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked the girls back up, and after that, the next day he was just blowing up my phone that he wanted to see the girls, and I just made him aware that I wasn't gonna, stop everything that I was doing just because he didn't take the chance to pick them up the day he had to, and now I have to stop doing everything that I'm doing because he wants to see them and for him not to pick them up again.
Okay.
So that's the decision that
Thank
I
you,
made,
Ms. Reyes. Thanks. Ms. Reyes, you and Mr. Guerrero had some violence between the two of you whenever you were together. Is that right?
That's right.
Can you tell me about how he hurt you?
He hurt me when I was pregnant with Kayleen. He dragged me by the floor. He punched me in my face. He punched me in my body. And the same when we had our youngest daughter, Alice, while I was pregnant with her. He was always getting home drunk. He was always out having fun with his friends. And when I would tell him, why wasn't he coming home? He was using my car, so I wasn't able to, tell him something or just, ask him questions because he would just start, reacting that way. He had anger problems, so he will always put his hands on me.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Reyes. So, Ms. Reyes, given his lack of involvement as a parent and the violence between you guys and his kind of lack of visitation with the kids, do you think it's in your girls' best interest if you are appointed as their sole managing conservator?
Yes.
And do you believe that you should designate their primary residence within Harris County and counties that touch Harris County?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And do you believe that Mr. Guerrero should have a phased schedule for visitation that will give him an opportunity to try to rebuild that relationship with his kids?
Of course.
All right. I'm going to review a potential visitation schedule, and I want you to just let me know if that's what you think is in your kids' best interest. The schedule would be day visits from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month, and he'd have 8 visits like that. followed by 8 visits that are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on the first, third, and fifth Saturday, followed by 8 visits from 6 p.m. on the first, third, and fifth Saturday to 6 p.m. on the following Sunday, and then a standard possession order after that. And for each of those visits, if he plans to show up, he would need to send you an email, written notice of his intent, 7 days before a given visit at reyesevelyn1313@gmail.com. Is that the schedule you think would be best for your kids?
Yes.
And would you like for all of the exchanges for that visitation to occur at the McDonald's located at 185 West Road in Houston, Texas, 77037?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how are your children currently covered for health insurance?
Right now they have Medicaid.
And would you like for the court to order you to continue providing that Medicaid?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you hear the testimony that Officer Barrera gave earlier about child support and medical support and retroactive support?
Yes.
Do you believe the court should order Mr. Guerrero to pay child support in the amount of $267 and medical support in the amount of $75 beginning October 1st, 2022?
Yes.
And do you believe that the court should take a judgment against Mr. Guerrero for retroactive child support in the amount of $8,379 to be paid at $95 a month beginning October 1st?
Yes.
And do you believe that if Mr. Guerrero has access to your address or your phone number, or if they're published in the order, that you would be in danger of harassment or stalking or serious harm or abuse?
Yes.
Can you explain why you believe that'll happen?
Because the last time that he was scheduled to pick up the girls, he didn't pick them up. So whenever he was trying to see them the following day, I wouldn't answer his calls. He will send me messages. He will call me, leave me voicemails that I was going to regret it, that he knew where my parents' house was, and that he had found out where I lived, that he was watching every time that I was getting home. So I confirmed that because he sent me pictures of the house that I was living in, and I had no clue how he got that address. And that's the main reason why I do.
Okay, so you feel
that
you and your kids will be safest if there's a finding of non-disclosure. Is that right?
Definitely.
All right. And do you believe that if the court were to sign an order that contains everything we talked about today, it'd be in your kids' best interest?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions and pass this way.